These guys didn't even put their gloves on. They didn't come to play because you're cutting out what makes football so special. Think about going to the club, but instead you're playing a game of FIFA. You gotta move with the beat. What's happening, my beautiful people? My name is LaBelle, and I'm feeling a rev up of energy. I don't know where it came from. This is being recorded a little bit in the later evening. I feel like my eyes look wide awake. No issues, no concerns. You always say that I look like I've been smoking something that's... Hey Siri, lights green.
Green coming right up.
Technically, it's getting legalized in many states. I'm sure that's gonna continue as a theme. I think I preferred the red. We're gonna rerun this. Hold on. Hey Siri, lights red, please. Hey Siri, lights red. You try to be polite to Siri and she ain't having it.
Okay, red.
Just tell her what to do. Boss her around. Today, we're talking FIFA 21. There's been a lot of footage that's out there that we can analyze. If you're ready for FIFA 21, please drop a like. Support the algorithm. Support your boy. Yours truly. We're revving up that energy. We're getting prepared. I've got so much in motion. I'm not talking about swimming. I'm not talking about the ocean, but we are dropping bars. Lightweight bars. I'm looking forward to the return of a road to glory. It's been nearly 3 years now. You've been asking. I hear you. I'm going to get my reply. If you've seen some of these videos, what did you think? And be honest. This video, unfiltered truth. I will be your voice of reason. What I noticed, what you can expect, reading through all the lines. I'm sneaking up to the apartment, looking through the windows. I've got the insider track on what's happened. Not everyone has that trained FIFA mind. That's fine. That's why you're here. Number one, we will not be showing gameplay. Not because I cannot show the gameplay, but out of respect for all these creators that have been working hard putting out content. I don't want any problems. Even though with fair use, I could grab it for some of these small examples. I'm in the community. I understand. They have access. They don't want that shared everywhere. Number two, Mike, why don't you have the gameplay? Why were you not invited? I've got your answer. Game Changer Network got in maybe 4 or 5 years ago, had 2 or 3 years of normality, even though I didn't receive any benefits outside of the capture event, which was enough for me. I always look forward to bringing you early edition content. Build up that hype, that excitement. Especially this year, because we're all at home. After the introduction to competitive FIFA esports, there was some back and forth, some behind the scenes, and all pro FIFA players were removed from the Game Changer Network because it was some sort of competitive advantage, according to whatever internal conversations happened. And I have not been re-added into the Game Changer Network since that removal. That seemed like a lot of words, but it's important and it makes sense. So we're going to talk about things that you can expect. I'm going to reference videos that I've seen. Zwayback, Bateson, A9 Skills, B4 Lancer, Kazooie. We'll link some creators down below. I've been seeing what's been going out. Mad HD Gamer. I'm watching, I'm analyzing. It's what we do. And the hair's getting a little bit longer. It's growing back. I think we had our short hair experience. We got the dirty mustache. All that's revving up. Okay, as we do, I've made this a top 5. Standouts. What I've noticed, considered, observed, and now we have application, which is crucial. Remember back in school, many folks can memorize, but they didn't have that skill set to actually analyze, to take what they've learned and then apply it to solve a problem or to increase the value of their opinion. Give you that real background check. Number one, goalkeepers look suspect is saying it nicely. These guys didn't even put their gloves on. They didn't come to play. Energy offset. It's not right, not confident. And when you see these high score lines, this can be high key misleading. I want you to understand that. I want you to ponder. Take that into consideration. I also recall playing in multiple capture events. Goalkeepers were noticeably nerfed. They were not at their true ability when that game comes out. It's almost as if the sliders rev them down, push them down, move them down. This is not the final build, not the final boss. And to be fair, everyone that I saw put out YouTube content did make that disclaimer. That statement saying we are not analyzing, playing, creating content around the final title. Fair enough. Also, when you have all access, I was playing with icon on icon on icon. Pick a player. You have the best of the best. You score more goals, especially if the goalkeepers are taking a day off. We're dealing with endgame squads to start out the year. So when you see these score lines, 8-5, 9-6, that does not equate to a high-scoring FIFA. Did you guys ever use a Game Genie? This is a true throwback. Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, Game Gear. Please, somebody in the comments have a little age to them. Remember some of the glory days? Blowing through cartridges. What? Blowing through cartridges is. Blowing through cartridges. That's as good as we're gonna get. Point I was making, Game Genie would allow you to adjust and alter the code. And that's kind of how I feel when I watch some of this gameplay. It looked a little too easy in some regard. But it does bring me to point 2. From what we have seen, we cannot judge the defense. Because if you play FIFA 20, our current title with high depth, no bus drivers allowed, not selling out metro passes, and you restrict overload ball size, you're gonna have goals. The line's much higher. You've made your own squad rules. And these guys are creating content. They're not playing solely for wins. This is not weekend league gameplay. This is not division rivals gameplay, and I'm fine with that. If I was in the same position, I'm trying to score the spectacular. I want to test out everything. I don't want a defensive game, at least not when I'm experimenting. I got my hands for a limited amount of time on something brand spanking new. So of course, if you're at the dinner table, you can go for seconds, you can go for thirds. If you want it, you can get a to-go plate. You're going to score a lot of goals. You're going to create chances. You're going to create opportunities. But I'm still a skeptic because we are not seeing that competitive level or commitment to running back. That commitment to putting together an alignment, a collective of bus drivers with a certain type of initiative, not to concede goals. This was manual defending. People were going for it. Lots of space in behind. Paint me a picture. Let me describe the narrative. Space on space on space. I'm working up a sweat. Number 3, skill moves. Wow. Responsiveness. Undeniable. Chaining of skill moves. Unquestionable. That was there. It was present. If you're comparing skill moves and the flicks, the tricks, the combinations, the changes of direction, the free flow, the fluidity, and we're comparing this to FIFA 20, there's no comparison. Let's not be disrespectful. I see movement. I see working, feeling it out, grooving. We're dancing inside the box, and you have options. As someone who is a skill move enthusiast, I like what I saw thus far with the types of mix-ups, at least initially. But I also have that concern that the oppositions in these videos are not on overload ball side, are not parking the bus, are not running back defenders, are not holding the contain button. They're going for it. If FIFA players naturally got stuck in and went for it, and we were coming off a previous installment or a title that was a little more offensive driven or even defensive rewarding for taking manual risk, this would be a different discussion. Number 4, it's safe to assume. Let's call a goat a goat. Let's call a spade a spade. Let's call a banana a banana. None of that made a lot of sense. But this looks similar to FIFA 20, correct? Visually, some of the trajectory, the mechanics. I believe that EA has been working towards FIFA 21 on the next gen. Because remember, outside of this year, it will be obsolete, it'll be out of date, officially retired. We won't be talking about the PS4 or the Xbox One. We're gonna be talking about the Series X, the PS5. And I feel that EA invested their resources into the next gen, not the current gen. And that's why I feel it's safe to assume that we're going to have a title, at least visually, that is similar to FIFA 20. So the question is that necessarily a bad thing? Because contrary to popular belief and a lot of the critics, I personally don't feel that FIFA 20 was awful, but it was missing some key characteristics that could have taken it to the next level. Mostly around AI, offensive support, runs, stability, positioning, just natural integration of a football simulation, and it left you wanting more. And when you combine that with the overpowered and assisted defensive measures that were taken into place, we had a title that did not have proper balance, and it affected the skill gaps if you're at that higher level, that upper echelon. I feel like that was very well spoken. Well done on the vernacular. Number 5, defense to attack, too direct. These guys are scoring buckets of goals because there's no midfield. I don't see midfielders running back. I don't see them involved enough with scoring goals. One through ball, one deep pass. That reminds me of FIFA 19. and even late stage FIFA 20 where you're able to surpass the midfield. That's okay short term, but that is not going to be a good function or a staple long term in any FIFA title. No installment, because you're cutting out what makes football so special. Games are won and lost in the midfield. I need those guys with the 1-2s to win those battles, the 50-50s, the track back, the slide tackles, the box to box, the general tactical approach to how to position these players. I don't want it to be one pass from the defense to the striker or to a winger who's sitting up top, and now we have an outlet, we have a counter attack. That should not be a focus point in FIFA 21 or any FIFA title. I would like to add, there's been no gameplay up to this point that I have seen that utilizes or showcases some of the new attacking functions or mechanics. When we're talking about the 1-2s or the manual control or the off the ball movement, where you should be able to integrate new pockets of space. And I don't have a problem with that. It takes time. I recall when I first played FIFA 19, not completely understanding timed finishing, and definitely I had no idea the value and the relevancy of time finishing until a later stage. After 2 or 3 weeks, and we saw green, 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 we weren't thinking money. We were saying, oh no, this is a problem. It's gonna hit the top corner every time. My goalkeeper is not reacting. You had unusual angles to combine, first time shooting. Timed finishing, in theory, is an incredible concept, but the execution wasn't done properly in FIFA 19, and then it was almost irrelevant in FIFA 20. So EA hasn't quite mastered too much or too little. Maybe 21 will be a shift. Maybe we see it erased. Put it on the chalkboard. But all in all, so many of you have been asking me about my opinion regarding gameplay, and then also why I don't have gameplay specific to show on my channel. I answered both of those. This is the unfiltered truth, good and bad, and it's still first impressions. We're very early on, but from what I witnessed when I was analyzing everything that was on screen with these different creators and the goals that were being scored, the saves that were being made, or in most cases not really being made, opportunities generated, and just the overall flow, because FIFA is a game that will always be about rhythm. Think about going to the club, but instead you're playing a game of FIFA. You got to move with the beat, and the better you do that, you're probably going to have more success. Definitely going to gain additional attention. If you enjoyed the content, please drop a thumbs up. If you're brand new, subscribe, turn on some notifications. I have a lot more content coming out for you ASAP.